bringing your whole self to work or school. Who's heard of that phrase before, right? Yeah. We want to bring your whole self to work, right? It's a cliche, in my opinion, is it? But that can be tricky business if you think about it. If you really think about that, do you really want all of me to come up in this nice fancy place? You got to think about that, right? There's a decision logic situation where you got to, okay, here's all the different things about me. I'm stepping into this space, then there's a decision. Do I bring all the things in? Some things, absolutely. Some things maybe not so much. But the exercise of determining how much of yourself to bring into a particular space can be stressful. It can be tough. It can be a number of different things like that, all right? But I actually wanted to challenge all of us to bring more of yourself to work today or into this space today than you normally would. Push your own personal envelope when it comes to that, all right? And to do this, I actually wanted to lead from the front on this and actually demonstrate this for a minute, all right? We talked a little bit about this yesterday, about stepping out on courage. Courage is a choice, things like that. So I'm actually trying that already. I did the first little thing with the dance, and I think it worked, but I'm gonna take another step when it comes to that, all right? Bringing your whole self to work. So I'll start with this. And I'm gonna take Dr. Lonnie Brooks's quote from yesterday about being simultaneous. There's a number of different things about all of us that make up the summation of who we are, all right? This slide right here is just a snapshot of some of the different things about me. These words represent different lived experiences, different roles, different labels, if you will, that just describe me and represent who I am. And the circles that you see just represent a level of intersectionality about how all these different things blend together, all right? But I'm actually going to open up the envelope and push my personal envelope on that. And so here's a double click into who I am. Here's my story, and here's my song, all right? Does anybody know this genre of music? Anybody from the DMV in here? There we go. So those of you who aren't, this is called go-go music. Yep, yeah. So this is literally where I'm from, all right? And these different pictures right here describe it. My hometown is Charlottesville, Virginia, about 1.5 hours south of Washington, D.C. Seaville in the house, that's what's up, yep. Also, Nelson County, Virginia is another place where I spend a lot of time. That street sign right there, that's the corner of Creasy and Casterlow Street in Rich Square, North Carolina. That's where my grandparents were. Them, as well as a few others in my family down there, were pillars of the community over time there. And then we got DC right there. So that's literally where I'm from, the culture, and what that represents. Next, I'm going to tell you where I'm relationally from. And with this, I want to take a moment and honor my ancestors. We talked about this yesterday with Dr. Lonnie and Ahmed when it comes to being at that intersection of the ancestors from the past, the future, and what's happening right now. So the people that you see on this slide, I've actually had direct interactions with just about all of them now that I'm in my 50s now. That's the way time works, all right? And there are a number of different stories, lived experiences, and moments that are within me that when I walk into a workspace or a school space, I have these different things embedded in me. Here's one more group picture. Again, the same point is this. I know you all don't know who these people are. A couple of you do that are in the room or that are on screen know who these people are, but you know what this represents. This represents the full arc of the human experience. The exciting things, the highlights, the challenging times, the tough times, all those different things are represented here. I'm actually in one of these pictures too, if you notice. That's what I was doing in 1978, it was that. Way back when, probably before most people in this room were even born. But that's all good, it's all good, right? And so the next piece, and then we just double click down into my part of the family tree. And so this is my crew. This is actually a throwback picture. This picture is about 20 years old right now. And so this is a more recent picture of this. So this is my crew. So this represents 27 plus years of marriage and family life. and all the different things that come with that. All the highlights, the challenging times, the good times, the difficult times, all those different things are represented in my lived experience. And again, these things are embedded in me, and I have choices. When I walk into a space, how much of these different things am I going to bring? Well, this also represents the different summation of the networks that I've gotten into, the different friend groups, different spiritual communities that I've spent time with, which produces this output right here. Now, the next piece is another dimension of who I am. What is this? And this is this slide here. That's me a long, long time ago, that little picture. Yeah. Now, if you know me, you know it's just a matter of time before I pull out some type of basketball reference or some type of sports reference. That's just running through my veins, all right? That's just what I'm made of, all right? Now, with this, the different pictures that you see represented, a number of amazing lived experiences with that, but I've learned a number of powerful life lessons between the lines on the basketball court. And I pull in all these different lived experiences into wherever it is that I show up, all right? A lot of that stuff is actually running right now with how we set up this whole program with this. All of you are actually playing basketball right now, believe it or not, with this, with how we set things up, all right? This is Charlottesville High School, one of the best teams in the state of Virginia. When I played there, one of the best teams I ever played on. I think it's actually the best team in the state of Virginia, I think. Yeah, but anyway, yep. Then that middle picture, that's March Madness, 1994, 31 years ago. That's what I was doing in middle of March, 1994. Yep, and then that 5-star basketball drills. That was my first time on the big stage. This is back in 1989. It was a big basketball camp with some of the top players in the country. Over 1,000 players was there. I'm some no-name kid from a small town in Virginia playing against all these amazing players. Ended up getting ranked in the top 50. That was my first time betting on myself. And this actually helped to pave my way to get into a 4-year school because I got scholarship opportunities. My parents didn't have a big checkbook to just write a check, so LG, that's my nickname, could go to school. Had to be able to dig and basically pave my own way, and I was able to do it on the basketball court. And that experience is embedded within me, and anytime I have a 5-star moment, that's what I called, I'm like, yeah, I've bet on myself before. I know what I can do. I can show up and I can do this. If I put in the work, do those different things there. Last thing there, that's me, students. That's me when I was your age. That's me at 21 years old, a long, long time ago. And so me in my 50s right now, I would love to have a real talk conversation like Marshall mentioned, real talk, real listening with that guy right there. There's a number of things that I know now that I would love to tell him back then. And today in our different breakout moments and different things that we have, you have the opportunity to have interactions with people at different points in life, all right? And now with that, the last picture, I'm still a gym rat. So I actually work with a number of different players in the gym, working on skills and different things like that. And now here's another dimension of who I am, is this. So one thing about me, I'm no stranger to hard work. It's embedded in me. It's who I am. I love the grind because that's what was built in me way back in Virginia as a man who looks like myself and what that means in society. There's a number of things that are embedded in me, and with the ancestors that I showed you before, they put a level of value in me, and so grinding is what I do. I've been grinding all my life, as Nipsey Hussle says. That's the way it is, yep. And again, I got a nice personality, but I got a couple extra gears in me too. And I like the way Bruce Lee does this quote, famous martial artist, amazing person. And he has this, he sums it up like this: research your own experience, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is uniquely your own. And the last piece here, well, before I get into the last piece, so these are just a few things about my context and perspective. And then finally, I want to talk about this right here. So this right here is a invisible backpack, right? You saw me wear it on stage, right? I wore this on stage because I wanted to make all of you aware that all of you are wearing an invisible backpack yourselves. And the whole idea with the invisible backpack it represents different things that we are carrying. And when we walk into a particular space or into a particular moment, we have the choice to unpack and unzip it and reveal some things that are inside. And the last thing I'll do here is just take a moment to open up my bag, step out on courage again, and talk about a couple things. So the first one here is with one of the guys I used to train. This is Drew Gordon. He used to play for the Philadelphia 76ers for a minute. Played most of his time overseas. Had an amazing career in professional basketball. And you all can read. You see what's on the thing. He passed away last year, 33 years old, a horrible car accident. He had just finished up his career and getting ready to transition into his next chapter. And one funny thing about me and players like this is I'm kind of seen as a basketball grandpa. Because I'm a gym rat, but I've been in corporate America for a number of years. And I was looking forward to having a number of conversations with him about how that transition looks and how to begin his next chapter. He was married, 3 young kids, awful auto accident, terrible, terrible situation. And so one thing I'm doing, again, in my 50s, I'm still learning how to talk about these different things in these moments. And I know younger generations, that's something that is more easier to do or more familiar with that. In my generation time, growing up, that's just harder to do in my context. But that's one thing I'm learning. And so that's one thing that's in my backpack. And then the last thing is this with my dad. And so that's us back in 1976, by the way. A number of quality moments. I'm the oldest of 4 in my family. And so there's a number of quality moments that my dad, my mom, and I had. Last year, he suffered a major stroke. Almost lost his life. I went back home, spent a lot of quality time with him to help him with his recovery journey. He's had an amazing recovery journey. He's in a really, really great spot now. And there's a more recent picture of Dad and Mama. And the cool thing about this is that, having a stroke is a major thing. It's a huge thing because my dad has always been an active person, do for himself a number of things like that, but a stroke can literally start you all over again. And to literally be there and walk with him step to step on the different therapy drills, different exercises, being with him at the rehab center, there was a lot of amazing downtime moments. We were just playing checkers, watching the game on TV. A number of things that we were doing back in 1976, 1980, all like that. And I'm like, wow, there's an amazing blessing with that because there's an amazing level of quality time that I actually haven't had in 40 plus years. And I got blessed with that opportunity this past year. So there were some powerful life lessons that I learned and explained that I'm super eager to share with you today as we do our different things. And so with that, this is just a summation. So as I come to work today, I'm bringing all these different things. I wanted to literally bring more of myself than I typically would on a typical work day. And so that was the goal of what I was literally trying to do right now. And so with that, the thing that I'm curious about is this. What is your story? What is your song? What's in your bag? Because all of you matter. All of you matter. And this literally is the recipe for how we'll have a magical time here today. All right?